The streetlight clicks softly as it turns on. Not bright, just enough to change the pavement beneath it. The sound lingers for a moment, then disappears, leaving the street exactly as it was before, only slightly clearer. The road is empty, but not unused. Tire marks remain where cars passed hours ago. Footsteps are still pressed into dust along the curb. Windows line the buildings on both sides, some dark, some glowing faintly, as if the night has not fully convinced them yet. A distant hum drifts in from somewhere far away. Traffic reduced to a single tone, low and steady, easy to ignore. The air feels cooler here, held between walls, moving slowly, uninterested in urgency. A mailbox rests beside a doorway, paint chipped, edges worn smooth by time. It has nothing left to deliver tonight. The street stretches forward in a gentle line. No turns, no choices, just continuation. A cat crosses near the far end, pauses under the light, then disappears into shadow without sound. The pavement reflects a thin layer of glow, not wet, just polished by years of passing nights. Somewhere above, a window closes, carefully, as if not to disturb anything below. The street accepts this without reaction. A tree leans out from a small square of soil, leaves barely moving, holding the last warmth of the day. One leaf lets go, falls, touches the ground without noise. The night deepens, not darker, but fuller. A bench sits near the corner, slightly uneven, one leg shorter than the rest. It waits without purpose. The light hums again, a quiet electrical agreement, unchanged. Farther down, another streetlight mirrors the first, then another beyond that. A line of calm, guiding nothing in particular. Time begins to stretch here. Minutes soften, edges blur. The idea of hurry loses meaning. A paper wrapper shifts along the curb, pushed by a faint movement of air. It stops against a drain, content to stay. The buildings seem closer now, not leaning, just attentive. Curtains move once behind glass, then stillness returns. The street remains open, unclaimed, patient. Somewhere in the distance, a train passes without being seen. Its sound reaches the street as a gentle vibration, then fades before forming a thought. The bench cools, the light holds, the pavement breathes out the day. Nothing arrives, nothing leaves. And on this last street before the city sleeps, the quiet settles in completely, spreading evenly from wall to wall, until even the idea of night feels calm enough to let go. The light at the corner shifts slightly, not dimmer, just softer, as if the night has leaned closer to it. The street remains still. Sound settles into the spaces between buildings, resting there without echo. A doorway farther down exhales warmth, not visible, only felt. A quiet breath from behind brick and glass. The pavement cools gradually, heat releasing itself inch by inch, no longer needed. A bicycle rests against a fence near the end of the block, its chain slack, its tires holding just enough air to remain patient. The fence creaks once, stops, decides it has said enough. Overhead, wires stretch from wall to wall. They hold nothing, but feel important anyway, like lines drawn only to keep the sky in place. The cat returns briefly, sits in the shadow beside the bench, listens, then stands again, uninterested, and moves on. The wrapper by the drain lifts, turns once, then settles deeper into the corner. Finished traveling. A window light turns off. One, then another farther down. The street does not notice the difference. It has learned to exist without counting. Air moves gently along the sidewalk, carries the faint smell of leaves and cooling stone. Morning has not arrived, but it has begun to prepare. The bench holds its shape, metal cooling, wood quiet, nothing asking to be remembered. Far away, the hum of the city thins. Traffic loosens. Voices dissolve into distance. The sound becomes more like memory than motion. The street stretches, not longer, just calmer. Shadows pull closer to walls. Edges soften. Everything finds a place to rest. A final window remains lit near the far corner. Not bright, not lonely, just present. Then that light dims as well. Curtains draw. The glow disappears without hesitation. The street accepts this easily. No footsteps arrive. No doors open. No signals change. The light at the corner holds steady, guarding nothing, watching everything. And on the last street before the city sleeps, time stops asking questions, allowing the quiet to settle fully, until the night feels complete enough to let the street keep itself. The corner light hums again, lower now, as if it is conserving what remains of the night. The street feels wider, not changed, just less occupied by thought. A drain along the curb releases a slow trickle, water moving somewhere unseen, carrying the last warmth away. Stone steps lead up to a doorway halfway down the block, their edges rounded, familiar with waiting. They hold the quiet easily. A curtain stirs behind glass, then settles. No one looks out. The bicycle remains where it is, unclaimed, balanced, its shadow thinning as the light shifts. Above, the sky loses a shade of darkness, not enough to notice at first, only enough to soften contrast. Walls feel less sharp, distances less exact. A faint echo moves through the street, not a sound, but the memory of one. It passes without stopping. The bench near the corner cools further, metal returning fully to night, wood steady, unchanged. Somewhere beyond the rooftops, a bird calls once, short, uncertain, then nothing follows. The street does not respond. It has already settled into itself. Light reflects weakly from the pavement now. Less shine, more surface. Everything becoming what it is. The air feels lighter, less held, as if the quiet no longer needs to press down to stay in place. The corner light remains, one constant shape in a changing tone. Its glow no longer reaches as far, and that feels right. Nothing else happens, and on this last street before the city sleeps, the night completes its work, leaving behind a calm that does not ask to be kept, only to be allowed to fade at its own gentle pace. The air changes first, not cooler, just thinner, as if the night has loosened its hold. Light from the corner reaches less far now. It gathers close to itself, no longer trying to touch every surface. The pavement looks flatter, details soften, small cracks blur into long lines. A doorway creaks somewhere inside the building, not opening, just adjusting. Wood settling into a new temperature. The drain grows quiet again, water finishing its slow passage, leaving the sound behind. The bicycle's shadow fades almost completely. Only the shape remains, resting without definition. Overhead, the wires disappear into the brightening sky. They feel less necessary now, their work nearly done. A breeze passes once more, gentle, final. It moves nothing this time. The bench no longer feels cold, not warm either, just neutral, balanced between night and morning. The last streetlight hum becomes harder to hear, not because it stops, but because other sounds prepare to exist. Far away, a city breath begins. Soft engines, a distant door, something turning on for the day. None of it reaches the street yet. The street holds this moment, the pause between hours, the quiet before names return to things. The light continues to dim without changing. The night finishes without leaving a mark. And the last street remains, empty, calm, ready to be forgotten as the city slowly wakes somewhere else. The sky lightens just enough to be noticed. Not color, not morning, only space opening slightly above the rooftops. The street feels smaller now, not shorter, just closer to itself. The corner light remains on, though its glow no longer leads. It stays out of habit, not necessity. A window reflects the pale change overhead, glass catching what the street no longer needs to hold. The pavement dries where moisture once lingered, dark patches shrinking, edges pulling inward. Somewhere behind a wall, water runs briefly, then stops. A morning sound arriving too early, quiet enough to be forgiven. The bicycle still leans where it was left. No shadow now, just form, just presence. The bench blends into the street, its outline less distinct, its purpose finished. Air moves again, but differently. Less careful, less slow. It carries nothing worth following. A distant engine starts. Once, then another farther away, separated by space and time. The street does not respond. The light at the corner flickers. Once, twice, then steadies again, unsure whether to stay. The buildings appear taller now, not looming, simply visible. Curtains remain closed, doors remain shut. The street keeps its agreement with silence. The night releases the last of its quiet, not suddenly, not reluctantly, just enough to let go. And as the city begins to gather itself elsewhere, the last street lets the stillness fade, without needing to remember what it was holding.